congratulations on this series. I loved every minute of it. What a remarkable season, truly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Um, Conchita proudly says to Nan early on in the season, we're complicated.
We've been quoting that, or she's been quoting that.
I've been quoting that.
Because I keep saying complicated, they're complicated, and then, yeah.
And then I keep going, we're complicated.
Yeah. At first I forgot, I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah,
it's like, it's from the show. Like, do you not remember?
Remember? It's an epic moment. I loved it. As society, this is kind of a big question, I apologize, but as society attempts to put these women in boxes, can you both please touch upon the ways in which they, throughout the season, lean on each other to keep those complications intact and to, keep their sparks burning bright?
I mean, you've said it so well throughout today that they would benefit so much from actually having a proper conversation. Like our characters in particular, we're supposed to be best friends, and we have this backstory, the strong foundation, and then we're both just torn apart into these drastic changes in our lives, and we keep trying to have these conversations, and I feel like that gives us something, but then it's always pulled away, and we can't finish our sentences, we can't share how we're actually feeling.
Or it's me or Conchita venting, and Nan doesn't get to express herself.
Yeah.
So I think throughout the season, you see all these different girls go in different directions, because that's inevitably what happens in life when you're going from young adulthood or teenagehood to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's so important about am I allowed to say spoilers?
Yeah, we'll
okay.
let her this, right after the finale ends,
Cool.
to kind of recap of the season.
Okay. Sorry. Then I'll start over. And I think what's really important, I think, yeah. So you see them throughout the season be pulled in so many different directions, and inevitably that happens from when you go from teenagehood to adulthood. And I think what's so nice is that at the very end you see them come together, and we get to see them finally really show up for each other in a way that the other person wants to be shown up for. So yeah, and I think they can't just, these girls are so independent and so they have such a strong foundation of being like American and new money and all of that, that they just can't help but be themselves, even if they're living in English society. And I think that's just fun to see.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's so relatable. I think like with any relationship, the foundation, especially when you love and care for someone so deeply as these characters do, is, the importance of that communication, and how when there's these women love each other so much that their feelings are always kind of up here too, and they want to be there for each other. And you see that push and pull, I think, and it's so beautifully performed on both of your behalves throughout the whole season, and very relatable.
Thank you.
Let's talk about let's talk about this a little bit. I mean, the series takes place in the 1870s, obviously. But I found that the distance in time, I don't know about y'all, but the distance in time for me created a chance to have some vital perspective on the present. Could you both speak about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I dig about it too. We get to go back and see the human experience in that lens and see how we've grown and how we haven't changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the themes are still super relevant and timeless. Friendship, love, identity crisis, the different emotions of shame, the different emotions just period.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's always so much to be learned. It's just such a broad question. I don't know how it would fit everything in there, but we have a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think it's exciting because I think we forget that because of the costumes or the wardrobe and the landscapes and the setting of being in castles and all of that, we forget that these, even back then, they were just girls trying to figure it out and falling in love or falling into marriages that they don't want to be in, or trying to navigate friendships and surviving in this society, which, there's been a lot of change for women, obviously, but we can relate to some degree of feeling repressed.
For sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It feels like when, when the past doesn't feel so far away, I think,
No.
then we get this sense of urgency, I think, as a viewer. I've been feeling that way a lot as I'm watching Fellow Travelers, which has been kind of giving me that same sense of urgency, even though it took place in the past. Alicia, you mentioned a little earlier about how these characters, go through so many changes, especially Conchita. She becomes a mother, she becomes a wife, and um, but she, even though there's moments where, she believes she might have to put up a front or become a character, she doesn't lose her identity. Can you talk about the importance of seeing women on screen fighting against labels and instead kind of creating their own?
I think it's really inspiring to watch because Conchita is such a strong personality and she has a strong sense of self, but she does want to be loved and she wants to be accepted. So she ultimately tries to, but I think the lesson is like it's not worth putting on a mask to make other people happy. And I think that's the important lesson that she learns, and it's just nice to see that you are enough. You don't need to do anything. Like if people don't like you, that is not your problem, that is their problem. And so long as you're a nice person and you're not doing any harm to the world, there is no need to change who you are for other people. It's a waste of time and energy.
Yeah, so true. And it took me so long to learn that in my life. And I
Oh,
think that
yes. Yeah, same.
and I think that it's so inspiring to watch these young women sort of navigate that together, independently, but also together, and go through those growing pains. And then it's really beautiful then to see these romantic relationships blossom from that authenticity. And we see both with Guy and Richard, how the love is so genuine and authentic because these women are being themselves and being loved for who they really are, which again, such an important lesson. I mean, the
Yes.
like this is just show is just so full. It's so full of just important and relevant themes, and must be such a joy to be a part of that.
Well, thank you so
That's
much.
so
I'm happy it
beautiful.
translated.
I
It's so
know.
true. I just
Oh,
realized that both Guy and Richard kind of have the same thing
Effect.
effect
I hadn't thought
of,
about it
yeah,
in
I
that
hadn't
way
thought
either.
about
They
it.
really love our characters' true selves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
because like the foundation of love, whether it's platonic, with girlfriends, with husbands, with partners, with family, it all comes from like the same place. And I think that
Mhm.
we've tried to box that in and on screen, but really it all like stems from that kind of self-love and that
Yeah.
authenticity, which
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
does. Yes.
It's
Okay.
so lovely. And like they're so imperfect, like messy and not afraid to get their hands dirty. So it's nice to see that is deserving of love as it always should be because we're
Yeah.
all over the place as humans anyway.
Yeah.
So it's nice to
Yeah.
be able to show that
Yeah. Oh, I
side.
love that connection.
Yeah. Well, I'll be praying to the Apple gods for season 2 because
Us
this is
too.
such a
Yeah.
remarkable show. All right. Thank you, ladies. That's my time. This was lovely. Thank you.
It was so
Thank you.
nice.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.